Well, here we are in the Garden District of New Orleans in the year 2014, the day before our 58th wedding anniversary. And we're here with Erin. Of course, we is Mom and me. And being here in the Garden District reminds me of a couple of stories that it seems worth mentioning. The Garden District had a special aura to it for us. I think I could say that for my brother Wayne and for me. Of course, it has its fancy homes and so forth. And I remember, for example, that we visited Leon Trice, who was a famous professional photographer here in New Orleans. And he had a beautiful home, I think, right on St. Charles Avenue. And we visited there. And if I'm remembering the family arrangements correctly, one of his children, I'm thinking the name may have been Johnson now, but anyway, the story works. Whether I have the families exactly right or not, I'm remembering this fancy home on St. Charles Avenue or thereabouts. And once I was in Brookhaven, and my grandfather, old Grandpa Mac, sitting in the rocking chair on the front porch there on Josephine Street, 418 Josephine, was talking to me about all sorts of stuff because I was the only one who'd ever listened to him. And he said that we had recently visited in New Orleans at this home, the Trice home, if that's the case or what it was. And he said he wanted me to learn a lesson from that. And I said, Grandpa, what are you talking about? He said they had a child who was mentally disabled, retarded at birth, and discovered soon thereafter. He said the reason is because she drank alcohol while she was pregnant. And of course this was quite prescient for him to say such a thing at the time because people were not making such a connection. So anyway, he said to me, and when you marry, and he assumed that I was going to marry Mom at the time, you must ensure that your wife does not drink alcohol when she is pregnant, or you will have a mentally retarded child or have a very good chance of that. So anyway, that's one of my screwy connections that I have with the Garden District in New Orleans. The other is that of all things, this boy, my father, Eric McVadon Sr., came from little town Brookhaven, as I mentioned, moved to Baton Rouge, and became quite a good photographer. He was a professional photographer for all his life. And of all things, he somehow got in with the crowd where he was among the best photographers in Louisiana. And he was elected the president of the Louisiana Professional Photographers Association. And I remember a few years ago finding a picture of him dressed in a tuxedo, presiding over the annual convention of the Louisiana Professional Photographers Association and making quite a good speech. So I think that it was at the Hotel Monteleone in New Orleans, but with all of these people, many of whom had homes here in the Garden District in New Orleans. So the Garden District has several special memories for me, probably more if I thought longer, but that's a sample.